I don't want to hear your shit. Okay, Lindsay? God.
So sassy today.
Children, get along. Damn it.
Jeez.
Gerald, how are you?
I'm good.
Goody Linz is in the house.
Welcome in to the PHNX Suns podcast, brought to you by the Jockey and Sportsbook app, America's #1 sportsbook app. Don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe wherever you get your podcasts, and leave us a 5-star review. I'm Lindsay, that's Saul, that's Espo, that's Gerald. Gentlemen, today's question of the day, I saw this one circulating on social last week, so I want to know what yours is. In the summer, what temperature do you keep your house at in the evenings?
Oh, and like when we're sleeping or just in the evening?
Both. Like as you're about to go to bed. Mostly for like sleeping late
For
nights.
sleeping, 68 degrees.
Oh,
Well,
sheesh.
Is it what I want to keep it or what the wife makes me keep it at?
Both.
Because I'm right there with Saul. I'd sleep at a nice 68 degrees, but usually it's 73, 74 in my house, and that's just not
How much is
suitable.
your electricity bill?
Yeah,
My
shit.
It's not that bad.
I mean, during the day, it's at 78. And I'm not home for like 12 hours, basically, because that's how much I grind, people.
Dear Lord.
Lord help us.
I can't even say that without a straight face.
How much of that is at the bar after the leaving the office?
Well, it's
Gerald,
not
where
with
you
you.
at?
I know that.
I'm at like 75, 76.
Oh my
I'm
God.
at like 77.
Holy
fan on.
crap!
You guys sleeping in saunas out
in
here?
in a smaller like apartment, it's like 76 is like perfectly chill in there.
Listen,
Bro.
at 77, my electricity bill in the summer is like $500. I'm not spending $1,000
What?
a month.
Whoa,
You gotta
time
get
out.
your house checked.
How much is
77
yours?
degrees. Mine's like maybe 250, 300.
Max, and I do the
What do
spread
you
it
do?
out
You
over
know
the
why?
year. I pay
You know why?
117.
Because she's home
a month.
22 hours of the day. That's why. That's why.
She'd be broke if she kept it at the real temperature she wants it at
How
the
is
whole
yours like $200 in the summertime?
Well, it's like 300, 350, maybe 4 at the most, but you're like 8 degrees warmer.
That's why I'm saying I don't understand how yours is so low.
400? I've never hit 400 on an electric bill.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, maybe I need to get a lot of things
Dude,
checked
how
in
the
my
hell
house.
are you sleeping in that hot ass
I
temperature?
mean, like
if dude, literally, if
But I
in
feel
my
like I'm
in my
always
house,
cold, though.
if my shit hits 72, like I can almost immediately feel it, and I
Really?
wake up, I'm sweating.
I'm right there.
fucking. Oh no, I can't do
wait,
it.
okay, so we're talking about. I'm sorry. Did you say in the evening or during the day?
In the evening was the
Okay,
original.
in the evening it's like 74. That's like
That would
That's
be way
cooler.
too cold for me.
What?
I
That
feel
surprises me about
but
you.
listen,
You wear a beanie all
exactly.
day.
I'm so acclimated to Phoenix weather that if it gets below 70 degrees, I'm cold. So like 77 with a light blanket and a fan on, I'm good.
Your dogs and animals in your house must be dying. They must be like,
Surprisingly
what is
enough-
with this woman?
You know when they open their mouth and breathe, that's not a good thing, right?
the tongue's like
I
6
promise
feet
you, I'm
long.
a good animal parent, okay? I make sure that they're good. Goodness gracious. Okay, well, apparently I need to try a little less warmth in my house when I'm sleeping, and I need to check with my electric company to see what the heck is going on with these bills.
You should probably get your windows checked, like everything. If you're paying
I
$500.
have historic windows, so that's probably a big culprit.
Experts do say to get
Probably a big culprit.
a perfect temperature to sleep at is 68 degrees.
Jeez, that's so cold. That's way too
Chill.
much.
Let's go.
If I'm at a hotel, it's 64 because I'm not paying for it. I'm like, let's make this shit Arctic.
Yeah,
If I could
for
sleep
sure.
outside at the beach in like San Diego and it's like 58 degrees, I'd be like in heaven.
I would catch
Heaven.
a cold.
Heaven.
Josh Hunt confirmed Lindsay is a lizard person. She got a humidifier and everything.
I'm so glad Josh brought this up because I have a thesis paper I'm writing about that exact thing.
Oh, I can't wait to read this one, Shane. All right, yesterday we did a sign and trade show with a whole bunch of options that the Suns might consider should this come to a head with DeAndre in. But yesterday we also got news from Jake Fisher on Twitter that OG Anunoby might, keyword might, want out of Toronto. But this information seemingly has come from rival front offices. So take what you hear with a grain of salt, people. But in the event that that does happen and he wants out, Gerald put together a potential option for the Suns to get involved surrounding OG. So Gerald, break that down for us.
Yeah, I mean, we talked a lot about sign and trade options, but in this potential deal, it'd be OG Anunoby coming to the Suns, DA going to the Raptors, because Fisher also in a separate report mentioned that the Raptors are going to be in on DA. They're going to be one of the potential suitors for him. And then you've got additional salary going to a third team that has cap space. It could be the Pacers, Pistons, Spurs, whoever you like. But just a team with enough cap space to take on Kem Birch, another salary filler player, and then a future first round pick potentially, or we're getting into the kind of that shady tampering zone with the number 33 pick in this year's draft. Again, it'd have to be one of those scenarios where, oh, we really like this player that the Raptors took at number 33. Let's add him into
love
the
the
equation.
shady tampering zone. I want to live in the shady tampering
If
zone.
I were in the front office, I would push my limit until I got caught, and even after I got caught, I still would try and push it.
Well, I didn't. I just called them to say what's up. Like, are they really? They're checking phone records. No,
Proof it
tampering
didn't happen.
happens. Yeah, yeah. I didn't text him about it. I'm not that dumb.
Right, exactly.
I don't know. I never know how to transition when you guys do this shit
I'm
to
all
me.
for OG's Anunoby to come to Phoenix. So.
Yeah, I mean, he feels like in terms of he's kind of in between our, worst deals that we went through or least likable deals that we went through yesterday and the pie in the sky guys that probably won't happen. But OG would be a really nice addition to this team, especially for a deal like that. If you have to give up DeAndre Ayton, you're not addressing your center spot, but you are adding one of the best two-way wings in the NBA in terms of his defense. Like right now, if he hadn't missed as many games as he did last year, he had a wrist or a hip thing, and then I think a finger fracture that held him out. But he would have been an all-defensive candidate last year, and he was the year before as well. If you have him and McHale on the wing, you're not getting scored on very often. He's a good three-point shooter. He's a guy that actually attacks the rim a little bit more, which is something the Suns could really use because we've talked about how reliant they were on the mid-range and how they can't draw fouls. He's not a good foul drawer, but he does get to the rim with some regularity. And I think he turns 25 this summer, so he's still very young. He's on a very team-friendly salary, a bargain contract. So he would be a really nice piece. And then you would still maintain your flexibility if another superstar became available, because then you've got all these different wings, McHale, Cam Johnson, OG, Jay Crowder, Torrey Craig, that you can mix and match to make salaries work.
If you make that deal, I think you're saying Cam is available for the right move. I think is the signal you're putting out to the league, because then you're stacked at one area, and I think that's a signal flare to other teams that we're not done making moves, and this guy now has entered the chat. So
I hesitate in this scenario just because you're not really plugging any of the holes that you really need to be plugged, and you also create another one. Like when you lose DA, you're bringing in OG, cool, but you didn't find a backup point guard. You didn't get somebody that is hands down somebody that can create their own shot at the drop of a hat. And so what are we doing here besides just adding to an already crowded, wing spot? So I'm not on board with this one myself.
One thing we didn't talk about yesterday is I think you're going to have to look at any DA move that's short of, Siakam or KD as the first of what would likely be 2 or 3 moves,
right?
To acquire assets. The first move is the sign and trade that acquires assets that may help you go big game hunting, or make a subsequent move, because it's not just going to be whatever DA move you make. I think you're looking at multiple moves if you wind up taking one of these non-superstar deals for DA.
But the problem with that thinking is that assumes that whoever is trading, let's just say it's a superstar out there, whoever is trading the superstar is willing to take on your mid-level package, and that's not going to be the case. Like, you're going to have to throw in way more draft capital to make somebody really be enticed enough to trade like a Kevin Durant if a DeAndre Ayton is not part of that deal.
I think you're going to have to do that anyways. If you look at the way a lot of these deals for superstars go, it's guys with high ceilings and a lot of draft picks to get them. And a DA move puts you in that conversation, because now you have multiple additional younger guys. Draft capital means nothing to this team, and I don't think it does for the foreseeable future. So, again, the best move is to re-sign DA and find a way to fill your holes with other moves and trading some of your draft capital and expiring contracts to bring somebody in. But if you wind up in the situation where you're trading DA, I think you have to look at it as part one of a multiple part.
But if you don't find said parts of, parts 2 and 3, then you've basically traded somebody for somebody that doesn't really make you a much better team. And then all the draft capital that you're going to try and sacrifice might actually hurt you in the long run because maybe your team's not going to be that good anymore.
Well, that's the question. Excuse me. That's the question you have to ask yourself. Are you willing to sacrifice the future to win a championship potentially right now, knowing that you're going to have a drought for the next however many years? Or do you want to play the long game and be good for the long game, but maybe not win a championship?
But I guess the point here is that these trades, obviously, and we did say this as a caveat yesterday, that none of these trades are blockbuster trades. Like we understand this, but my thinking is like I would just rather not trade DA and just match whatever the salary is that another team might offer him than to trade him for basically nothing or a lateral move at best, and then hope for the best in terms of wheeling and dealing to try and get a superstar with really not one potential guy that a team would look at and say, okay, we can build around this guy. Like the way I look at this, and this is the reason why the Mikal DA thing yesterday for Kevin Durant made the most sense, is because teams also look at this from a perspective of marketing. Like, how can we sell tickets? How can we get people in the door? If you're Brooklyn and you trade away KD, there's gonna be a lot of people pissed off. Mm-hmm. But if you bring in 2 potential guys that have taken the team to a finals, they're young, they're younger, and they have quote unquote a bright future. That's a little easier to sell to your fan base as opposed to us if we traded away DA and we got Clint Capella in a trade back along with Josh Herter. As much as people might love that trade, that's not going to sell any tickets. But nobody's going to give a shit about that.
The problem is half the fan base would be elated that DA was gone. That's the weird spot they're in.
But because
it might not even be their decision. If DA says he doesn't want to be here, that's the reality that you're looking at here. This is why you're even going through these thought experiments, because if they were just going to, if we were just going based on talent, yes, you should sign DA to that contract, keep him, and see how you can grow these guys. But the reality of it is that doesn't seem like the world we're living in right now.
Right. This is still, and we've talked about this, and I wrote about it in the article. The best option is to mend those bridges, not even just independent of what you think of DA and his future and his potential with this team, just based on the restrictions of a sign and trade, the financial restrictions. Their best option is to still bring him back, sign him to that 4-year max, offer him that extra $5.5 million that no other team can offer, and then you figure things out from there. But this is operating because we want to be thorough. We have a long off season, much longer than any of us were expecting. This is to be thorough and to explore, okay, if they can't come to an agreement, if the two sides just want a divorce, if this relationship has run its course and you're not going to fix it, these are the ways that you might have to pivot. Because again, sign and trades are hard to navigate. You have 3 parties to consider, maybe 4 in a trade like this OG Anunoby trade. And they're making fun of me because I've always struggled saying that damn name.
His name sounds like a Star Wars character.
Anunoby.
Why do you have a tough time pronouncing it?
I mean, Star Wars characters are tough names, but no, I feel like he would be a potential Jay Crowder replacement as early as this season. I agree with you that it kind of sends the message, okay, maybe we're not sold as Cam being our long-term starting 4. And that's not the end of the world, because that doesn't mean that Cam is suddenly replaceable. It just means that you need a strong guard or wing that can play multiple positions, that can defend, that can shoot, and that has flashed a little bit of scoring potential. He did average 17 points this past season and was put in more of a bigger role on offense for Toronto. So that's the thinking here. But again, the bigger point is most of this chatter was coming from rival executives. It sounded like it wasn't coming from anyone within the Raptors organization. Fisher said that 2 people with knowledge of the situation said that he hasn't talked to ownership or the franchise about his role. So it is what it is.
Icon says, trade the best center in our history for a Jay Crowder replacement. Now I'm horny.
I mean, the best center in our
basically what we're
history
talking
is,
about.
it's a low bar to, again, I'm going to drive myself crazy saying this. This is if it's out of our hands. If it's already fucked and you have to trade DA, I'm getting upset now because I feel like people keep saying, this trade doesn't make us better. None of them do. You're in a situation where the bridge is burned.
It's
That's what's happening here. That's what we're talking about.
Explain is
Yes.
that like these
Drives me
are
fucking nuts,
the
man.
options should the
God.
Suns and DA decide they cannot coexist anymore.
Yes,
This
it's
is
over.
what we're up against. It's not as easy as sometimes we would like it to seem that we could just trade DA for a superstar 1-for-1 and be done with it. Like, it doesn't work that way.
Well,
And there's reasons for that.
Well, and it's not like this is coming out of nowhere. There have been reports about strife. So that's the thing. Like,
This is where I kind of disagree about, and maybe I got this out of context, Gerald. Like in terms of DA having the having the stranglehold on this, I feel like the Suns do, because if I'm the Suns, like, and it's horrible to say this, but listen, players are assets to the team. Like they're functioning assets of the team. Like at the end of the day, if it's in the best interest of our team to hold on to said player because he's still a piece that we can maneuver down the road, then we're going to have to do it. All beef aside, like we've seen it multiple times, and we've seen like shit. We just saw it this year where Harden basically wanted his way out, and the Simmons wanted his way out of Philadelphia, and both entities just happened to wait to the right time, and then they found each other and they traded. Like that's what I think the Suns are in right now. I think the Suns would be like, yeah, I don't give a fuck what DA wants. We hold on to him. I don't care how disgruntled he is. He's still going to fucking play. He might be upset until we find the right trade for us that makes sense. That's where I would be at.
But the reports are they're not willing to pay him the 30+ million that you're going to have to match in a deal.
Sure.
And
then that's a different discussion for sure.
And
but
if you sign him, if you match, you can't trade him for a year. So these are the realities of the situation. If they're not willing to come to the table and go, here's your 4-year max with that extra $5.5 million, then you're in a no-win situation if your thought is we're going to hold him to trade him, because then you got to wait an entire year and you got a guy that didn't want to be there in the first place, signed with somebody else, and now you've created...
if it's better than the options that you would get in return, yes.
No, because you're basically creating a pressure cooker of bullshit that you're going to have to deal with for a year
and
that takes down better teams in the Suns.
You know who else has to deal with that bullshit is DeAndre Ayton. And so him refusing to want to go to another team or whatever, that's all part of this scenario too. The Suns have the advantage, in my opinion. Like
they do. They're in the driver's seat if they want to keep him, but that's the problem is we don't know that that's the case because they know that DA wants to be paid like a max center, and they don't view him in that way. If they viewed him in that way, they would have given him a max last summer when he sacrificed during a really, really impressive first playoff run. They didn't do that.
If you trade DA and you don't get a superstar in return, then in my opinion, your championship window has officially closed. And so what's the point? If your window's going to be closed anyway, you might as well just go ahead and suck it up and bite the bullet for a year and then trade them.
Because you don't bring somebody back that all they've talked about for 3 years is culture. I'm so sick of the damn word because it's all we've heard from them is the culture, the program. You don't bring a guy back that doesn't want to be there and realize that for a year you're going to turn your culture toxic and hurt the way you're building that. That's why they wouldn't do it. You don't force someone to be somewhere they don't want to be.
Sarver's mouthpiece. What the? No.
Yeah, that was aggressive. That was an aggressive comment, Joel. Take it back.
No,
right
that's
now.
not even it at all, bro.
Yeah, you'd have to be in a Joffy's mouth.
I'm speaking 100% based on what I've heard from the team and the way that they have talked about DA's role, about his personality, all of that over the last couple of years. This feels like a situation where DA wants to do more, and the Suns aren't convinced that he's a max center worth paying, $30 million a year for. Whether you want to debate that or not is up to you. I am just telling you what I am feeling based on what I've seen from the team, the way that they talk about each other, and the way that this is going. Like, fucking Sarver's mouthpiece, get the fuck out of here. Like, no.
Hey, one thing we're not going to do is be disrespectful, chat. Okay, don't be disrespectful.
The thing, this is the situation at hand. Okay, we all have our opinions and our feelings about what the team should or shouldn't do. What we are doing within these conversations, and will continue to do over the offseason, because it's the offseason and that's just what you do, is break down different scenarios that could potentially play out. That doesn't mean that we want them to play out that way. And I feel like if you have been watching our show for a while, you would all know that we probably are all in agreement that the best case scenario is mending this relationship and keeping DA.
Right. We've said that from the start, and somebody asked me to lead. I should have led with that. I've led with that every single time that we've talked about DA. This is in the scenario where they want DA gone, or where DA holds out and wants to be gone. They have the power to match, but if that relationship is not mending, and if they believe that they can do better with a Clint Capella or another average center who's a step down just filling that role without wanting more, then that's what I'm talking about, that scenario. I'm not saying I think that's the best scenario. We're being thorough here because we have nothing left to do but argue about this shit.
I also think that somebody in the chat kind of pointed out the similarities between what's going on right now and versus what Kyler did earlier this summer or earlier in the year. And the main difference is that Kyler understands, like, he knows he's the franchise. Like, he knows, like, there's no doubt about that. Like, so it's a little bit of a different situation, but like all this murmuring about like bad blood or disrespect or whatever, I do feel like it's going to settle down at some point. I do feel like they're going to talk at some point. Mm-hmm. And we haven't heard from DA about any of this. Like,
and we probably won't.
DA might be in the motherfucking Bahamas right now, like not knowing any of this shit is going on outside of what just happened courtside and his little kerfuffle with Monty. So I don't know. Like, I honestly, I don't really see that side, because at the end of the day, money talks, and it can be a very motivating factor. Clearly, it had some type of motivation for DA because he was upset about the way he was used, and he said so coming off the court, apparently. So I think it's all going to be fine at the end of the day. I think DA is going to come back. So.
If the Suns are willing to offer that money, that's what it comes down to. And we've talked about multiple times, we're not 100% sure who is even signing the checks at this point.
Sure,
there's a chance it's not the guy.
But at the same time, if a team offers him the max or their max, like, it's either that or you just let this dude walk out the door with nothing in return.
They definitely won't do that.
That's what I'm saying.
I know for a fact they won't do that. Like, not even sources. It just would make no sense because they would have no financial means to replace him. Yeah. So they will keep him if they get a max offer that is not, too incentive laden. I could not see them getting an offer sheet and then not matching it.
Yeah. I don't think there's any possibility of that. But
our friend Elon Musk in the chat, $199, not $199, $1.99 super chat. Elon here. How come we never see Sarver at games? He was there. He was sitting.
Yeah. He's in the suites now. He's just not sitting courtside.
No, he was sitting down.
He was sitting courtside during the playoffs.
During the regular season, he was in his suite.
So he's there. Just less attention on him, I guess. So.
Okay, I think we should move on because that got a little bit spicier than we expected. Are you guys going to be watching the finals?
Hell no.
I am.
Yeah, I will.
Yeah, I will.
I am.
I like to act like I will, but yeah, I'll watch them.
And if you guys want to get in on the action of the NBA Finals, be sure to download the DraftKings Sportsbook app, an official sports betting partner of the NBA. New customers can make any $5 NBA bet and get $150 in free bets instantly. And all customers, new or OGs, can place same game parlays.
I got a big-ass head compared to you, Lindsay.
Oh, sorry.
Jesus. I have like a monster dome compared to your little head.
I don't know what to tell you.
That's what the underscore is there for.
For a massive fucking dome.
But if you're looking to turn a small bet into a big payday during the NBA Finals, you can potentially do that with DraftKings same game parlays. A customer this season placed a $5 bet, same game parlay, and won over $5,000 when it hit. So get creative with those parlays and potentially turn a small bet into a big payout. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app right now. Use promo code PHNX. Make any $5 bet during the NBA Finals and get $150 in free bets instantly. That's promo code PHNX only at DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of the NBA. Just a reminder, that's 21 and older only. Arizona only. Gambling problem, 1-800-NEXT-STEP. New customers only. Minimum $5 minimum deposit. Eligibility restrictions apply. See DraftKings.com/sportsbook for details.
I really can't get over the fact that my head is so fucking huge right now. It's like I just noticed it. Jesus Christ, it's fucking huge.
You don't bother.
The reason why it looks big from this angle is because it's shooting more from that way.
You want me to move my
So,
forward?
yeah.
It still looks like,
But there's no
it's
excuse
like-
here.
It's like I
Well, it looks more natural in this one.
you look like the Sparky caricature next to your head. Just that disproportionate with this camera angle. It's not fair to you.
I don't know if this topic is going to be less spicy or more
No, it's
fun.
Hopefully.
I have no idea, but we're going to talk about some Suns uniform leaks.
Here we go. Just as divisive.
no. Listen. If there's one person in this room that is going to get upset about Suns uniforms, it's that guy.
Hell
He,
yeah.
like,
It's
Let's
like a
go.
he
whiny-
fought me just to talk about the topic in the first place.
It's a whiny Wednesday. That's what we're
There
doing over
we
here.
go.
We're all
I love
whining.
it. Let's wide.
Espo, tell us about all of the uniform leaks that are out there, things you're hearing, all the things.
Well, so we've heard for basically a year that there's some kind of change coming. Over the last few months, we've seen leaks that
a change
were,
gonna come.
were assumed to be coming from Chinese factories where they had the catalog of what these new jerseys look like, supply chain things. So some of those grainy photos had leaked online, and it looks like we have a good idea of pretty much what the entire set of new Suns uniforms will look like for next year. I was talking with the Paul Lucas, who runs UniWatch, the foremost look at uniforms last week, and it sounds like these things take about 2 years to process through Nike, and that's why these leaks are happening, because they've actually been on the drawing board since, even before Chris Paul was here, and now they're kind of moving into fruition. So we can take a look. My friend over at Suns UniWatch put together some nice looking recreations of what these leaked grainy photos look like to kind of give an idea of what the uniform set will look like coming up in this next year. Audio listeners will do our best to describe, but you're probably going to want to.
What you're seeing now is a sultry teal.
All right, so let's take a look at the uniforms here. Let's go to the full one. So this is a look at the entire lineup that's coming up. 5 new jerseys, one of which will be a classic. There'll be the throwback 90s, but let's go one by one and take a look at these. We'll start with
Real quick, I do have a question.
Yes.
Is it normal to have like a complete overhaul of uniforms? I feel like it's always been 2 or 3, maybe.
No, usually Nike likes to refresh the entire thing on a 3-4 year basis.
Okay,
is
but
what
not
it sounds
every
like.
year.
No, what happens is the city jersey is only supposed to be a 1-year program. The
Mhm.
Valley jersey was supposed to be gone. This year was supposed to be a 1 year. They were supposed to have the 75th anniversary jersey that everybody else in the league had. Them and Utah got a dispensation to keep their city uniforms for an additional year.
Dispensation, good
Yeah,
word.
look at that.
Which was
My
smart because the
SATs.
Valley jersey was nice.
Yeah,
Mhm.
and there was such blowback from the leak of their 75th uniform
That it wasn't nice.
It was trash. Basically, they put every other uniform they ever had in a blender and spit out, what looked like a paint version of an all-time Suns uniform. It was awful based on the leaks, and I think the Suns caught wind of how unhappy people were. I never got confirmation, but I'm 90% sure that they were legit. They got word. They knew how much people love the Valley, so they kept the Valley. But this is a new iteration of the entire uniforms. I have not heard if they're going to have an earned uniform next year or not, which goes to teams that make the playoffs. They haven't had those recently, but supposedly those may come back. So let's start with the association. This is the white uniform. It's very complicated. They've changed the names. There's no home. There's no road. They can wear whatever, whenever. But the association is the white jersey that used to be more the home. These look like basically a mashup of the 90s jerseys. The sunburst is kind of an outline of the sunburst. They've thrown the Suns wording over the streaks of the tail of the sunburst, numbers on the front. At first I thought these just look like a Walmart version of the 90s jerseys, but I've warmed up to these the more I see them, and the cleaner renditions we get.
So I think my only beef with this one, I don't mind the like reimagined kind of feeling of this one with like the Suns wording on the actual like streaks. I don't like how the ball goes into the armpit. I think if they had moved that down a little bit like the original one, I would like it better.
Yeah, it's a slightly further into the armpit than the original.
But
yeah,
again, we don't know for sure if this is exactly.
So what could have leaked was a close to finished product.
Right.
There could be slight alterations. You could see that sunburst move. I mean, who the heck knows? They could move the word mark, whatever, but these are what leaked, so it's what we're operating off of as well. I think they could make slight tweaks where maybe the ball's not an outline, maybe there's some different colorways with it, but it's growing on me. Next is the purple version.
Oh, I like the white ones too, by the way. I didn't know if Gerald was going to say anything too. You guys just took over and was like, okay, cool.
Chime in.
I like the white ones, damn it!
Since when have you ever had a hard time just inserting?
You guys didn't even take a breath. It just went from one to the next.
Gerald, what do you think of the white
Gerald
ones?
and I were just like, okay.
Gerald, we've heard from Saul. What are your thoughts on the white ones?
Somebody said it reminds me of crushed soda, and now I can't unsee it.
Yeah,
but
sure.
I do kind of like them. Like they remind me a little bit too much of the ones they did a couple years back. I forgot what they were called, but they were the like Karan Butler fashion show ones.
Oh, the Adidas, the one
streaks.
Prior to these.
Yeah,
ones, yeah,
they remind me of that, and I don't know how I feel about that, but I do like the colors as far as the purple lettering and a little bit of orange in the trim. I like that.
Yeah, I think those Adidas ones you're talking about are probably the most underrated in Suns history. I actually really liked those. I still want the Karan Butler jersey he wore in the fashion show.
I think everything from the past decade outside of the Valley jerseys has been hot diggity trash.
Low Suns was dope. I liked Low Suns.
A lot of the Low
Suns.
Suns ones sucked.
You know what
too,
throws
though.
me off
But the
about
black Low Suns is what I'm talking about.
The shorts were
specifically.
fire on that uniform. I'll give you that.
You know what throws me off about this is the numbering is off-centered.
Yeah, that bothers me.
Yeah,
But that
it's
could just be a
tilted.
Photoshop issue.
Yeah, that
Yeah.
could be that. That could be the photo.
And also, are we sure
DeAndre
DeAndre Ayton's ever going to wear this uniform?
Oh, that's just for the year. That's
I know,
not
I
the
know,
DeAndre.
I know.
23's on the back. So 22, 23 a year.
I'm kidding.
Let's take a look at the purple
Sticklers
version.
to every joke that I say. Good.
I don't remember which one of the dumb names that they come up with.
This is Icon.
The Icon. Okay.
Icon.
Who the hell gives a shit is what I refer to it. But this one is purple. The burst is black. You can't really see it in the image, but there are lines for the ball, just like the white one. The black is outlined in the orange. This one to me feels a little bit closer to the 90s. Just something about the coloring and that beloved one. I like these two. Another one that's growing on me, and I think that this will wind up being my favorite of the group, but I don't know. What do you think?
Definitely the lines on the basketball need to be more pronounced.
Yeah, and again,
because without that, it just looks like a black blob. Looks like paint.
And I think again that could be the rendition. A lot of times when you see them on players, other than the photos, it looks better. It looks different. So, but I agree with you.
But
on
I'm
that.
1,000,000% on board with getting rid of the color orange.
I agree.
Well, as far as the leaks go, we have no orange.
Yeah,
So-
well,
that's
that's
what
because
I'm
nobody
saying.
wants to look like they work for Home Depot
Yeah.
while they're playing for a basketball team. But
Yeah, I do like those ones. I agree. The orange line in the ball needs to be more pronounced, but other than that, I kind of like those ones the best.
yeah, so
Cool.
Let's move on to the next of the group. I'm just gonna give up on trying to remember. The statement. That's right. Whatever. This one is the least confirmed of the group.
Okay.
There's some question as to will it be PHX? Could it be like the orange uniforms with the smaller burst? The best guess is the PHX.
Of course, it's the least confirmed because it's the hottest.
Well, no,
I mean, I do like this one. I think
this is my favorite one.
I think the colorway and everything is confirmed. Just debate on what the top part on
Dude,
the
that thing
chest
goes hard.
This one's basically like it's like a remix of the Valley jersey because it still has like that gradient kind of.
This is a Jazz jersey. This is the Utah fucking Jazz.
Well,
Shane,
you could argue
you can get the hell out of here with that mess.
Look,
calm down, sir.
I mean, to be frank, I mean, we have been a kind of a photocopy, slightly better Utah Jazz recently. So yeah, the jersey should fit.
I like the statement one.
Oh, I do too. I like that they kept the Valley coloration
I'm always more inclined to like black jerseys. I don't know why. I just think they look so good. They're nice and sleek.
The black PHX ones in recent years have been mostly good. Like they've been pretty nice. I like it. It does kind of remind me of the Jazz, but that's because the Jazz went with that random gradient is that for like the Moab desert? Yeah. But I do like those.
Colorway there, the Jazz.
Yeah.
Dumbest name in the NBA too. Give it back to New Orleans.
Anyways. All right, let's go to the city one because this one's the biggest one. Right?
The numbers you were talking about though, the look on that, I wish they had done something similar on the other two, right? Where there was a little of that Valley flavor to the main jerseys. But
looks like a sunset.
Those, so.
Looks like a sunset.
It does. Yeah. Very much so. Yeah, the classic is going to be the one that I think people like the most, but the one that people are going to talk about the most is the one you're referring
the city
to.
one.
Yeah, buddy.
Hells yeah.
Listen.
What?
Dude.
Turquoise! What the hell?
Light me up all day. I want this.
Really?
I'm fully on board with this.
Dude, I love this.
Did you fall on your head?
I love this.
I was going to say I might be in the minority, but at least we're both on the same page. I actually really do think this will look good.
Dude, I think it's going to look fire as hell.
I think it's going to look really good.
It does not look like a Phoenix Suns jersey.
Who gives a shit?
I do. Okay. They're the fucking Phoenix Suns.
dude, have you looked at teams of late?
That's the thing.
Look at everybody. Everybody's doing jerseys that have nothing to do with their original color scheme.
No,
this is Nike going, please spend more money with
Shane,
us.
where is the black and white vintage footage, please? Can we put the overlay on Espo as he complains about the past?
No, it's the Phoenix Suns. They're purple and orange. You're not turquoise, black and red.
Look, I think
Are the Washington Wizards pink?
No, and they shouldn't be wearing pink.
No, they're fine.
Get off my lawn!
What was that?
Okay, you guys not being on the screen for the part where you're all screaming was absolutely terrifying.
Yeah.
And I can only imagine what that's like on audio.
I just want to apologize to all of our audio
kids.
listeners. We're going to do our best to be better moving forward.
Can you imagine how big Saul's head would look with a teal jersey? Like, I feel like that color would not suit that real well there.
You're grasping at straws,
My
buddy.
only beef with this jersey is the lettering gradient. It does look like a bomb pop.
It does.
A little bit.
It does look like a bomb pop.
I think if you tweak the red to more of an orange or to a purple, I think the purple and turquoise could be a nice combo. But
maybe
the
even
red,
a Sonoran red.
Ooh,
so that way it more identifies with the city. Oh, hire me, sons. Let's go.
Look, I understand. When I saw the other teams have leaked in this is a league-wide thing. Like Portland's like this neon green that the carpet in their airport is. Like no team is going to have their team colors with it. So it made me feel a little bit better about it, because if the Suns had just been like, hey, we're going crazy and nobody else is, that would have been a little more frustrating. But this is a league-wide program. So fine, you said, Washington will have the pink. There's all sorts of crazy.
I get what you're saying, Espo. I do, but at the same time, I'm like, you know what? Like that's just not how today's generation gives a shit about uniforms that way. They want something that pops. They want something that's flashy. They want something that they could wear out that they feel like is hot.
Okay,
like that's just it.
I get that, but even the design of this one's lazy. It's the orange jersey turn turquoise. Like, if you're gonna go that way, give me something different.
That's fair.
I mean, the piping on the side is different.
No, it looks like the old school nets with the X piping. Like, there's nothing creative about it. It looks
maybe the shorts though will bring some creativity.
That's fair.
Maybe
you don't see the
This
shorts.
reminds me of the San Antonio All-Star Game jerseys. Is what it reminds me of.
I agree, but if you're gonna do that, why not go look at the 95 All-Star jerseys from here with the big cactus and do something unique with a color that's not traditional?
Isn't the cactus so like cliche as hell though?
But I'm saying something similar to that. I mean, the freaking ones you just referenced with San Antonio had a giant chili pepper on it. I mean, which was pretty cliche too.
Easy, Albuquerque native over here.
Getting
offended.
Very nice.
Shit all over green chilies. Get them, get them, Gerald.
I'm very biased as a New Mexican native because turquoise is our state rock, and I love the turquoise jerseys. I would love them when they did them for our like college or minor league teams in Albuquerque. I do think Chris brought up a good point that the D-backs purple and teal works. So if you threw some purple in there, it might look a little bit better and might wind up being an indirect like D-backs tribute. That would be pretty cool.
So Sports Pro in the chat said, again, I just want to know the background since that's half the point of the city jersey. Correct me if I'm wrong, but this is a nod to our Native American population here in Phoenix, the long history of, I believe it was the Aztecs. Is that what this one is?
That's the assumption.
Okay.
We don't really know.
Right.
That's
assumed because the Suns did release a jersey asking for feedback early on in the season, didn't they?
But that was supposedly for multiple years in the future.
Okay.
So I think this is probably more of a tie to the Native American culture in Arizona, and that explanation obviously will add meaning to it. Right now, we're just looking at a weird color with a sunburst on it and trying to understand. There will be a story and a whole marketing push as to why this went, and like you said, the shorts could have some more significance to it that makes it look better.
When are these supposed to?
We don't know.
But sometime this summer.
Usually it'll be August when they unveil at least a portion of it. I always found it weird because you have free agency in July. You have these press conferences where they hold up a jersey, and these guys a lot of times hold up a jersey they'll never actually wear,
right?
Which is the weirdest thing in the world to me.
Could you imagine Kevin Durant getting traded to the Suns and him holding up like that fucking shitty ass orange jersey that they're not even going to wear this year? That'd be fire as fuck. Give me that poster.
That's what you have Photoshop for. Just swap the jerseys in that picture.
Lindsey, leave the room.
It's like a bad.
It's a simple solution, you guys.
It's the stupid draft night photo where we all know they've been traded, but they have to wear the hat of the team that drafted them. Like, it's just dumb. By the way, Icon in the chat says Espo misses Blockbuster. You're damn right I miss a good Blockbuster night.
Copper jerseys are hard to pull off because they tend to look orange or brown, and it's just not a good color on fabric. Copper isn't.
Yeah, and like even the dust or the brownish,
Yeah, it's not.
Do it, Josh. Do it, Josh. Do it,
what
Josh.
What I will say is now on these turquoise jerseys, and Josh kind of hinted at it about the Rattlers, but if the piping on the side, if the zigzags are like a shiny kind of copper, then that'd be fire. Or if some of the lining on the jersey itself had like some copper like tones, then you're talking.
Yeah, and again, we're basing it off grainy photos.
Right, and the red that we see, what seemingly is red, could realistically be more of a copper color in the actual jersey.
Yeah, it could which would change things a bit too, because then it would feel more Arizona. Right now, it's this weird, looks like a red. Again, guesses off of really bad photos from a catalog. Like it's difficult, which is why I struggle bringing these up without actually knowing what they really look like, because there will be things that change, but this is a preview to keep you guys in the know about
this is a talking point for the off season. That's where we've come, people. That's where we've come.
This is what happens when your team doesn't make the finals and you have to fill 2
Y'all
weeks.
act like we haven't been here so many times before.
I didn't want to be back here.
We haven't been here. ever before.
Espo has and Gerald has.
Not together.
And you
All
have.
4 of us together.
Together
Okay,
Lindsay,
but
we're a
we
team.
we all
Jesus.
understand.
We haven't been here with such high
It
expectations.
could have been the first week of
Right.
April. Count your
Right.
blessings,
That's
people.
right. That's right.
It's the expectations part that hurts.
We're still wondering what the
Expectations,
hell happened.
Reality.
We're talking about jerseys on June 1st. We're supposed to be talking about the finals, damn it.
Yeah.
Anyways, let's move to the classic. We're gonna be seeing those 90 purple sunburst jerseys, and it's going to be something quite nice that everybody will feel pretty good about. I think this is the one that everybody can agree on.
Mm-hmm.
This is what we always wanted to see, was the purple 90s jersey back. We saw the black sunburst jersey back in the 2012 season under Adidas, but this is the first time we've seen the purple sunburst since 2002, 2003, I believe.
Mm-hmm.
And it's classic. It's clean.
I'm just really happy for you, Espo, because I know purple is like your jam.
Yes.
And I feel like for me, obviously, I would have preferred the throwback to be black, but I do like the purple. Better purple than orange.
I
that's for
agree
sure.
that the black one is probably my favorite of the entire set, but seeing as we've seen them as a throwback before, I think it's cool that they're going to do the purple, and I think it's cool that we'll see Devin Booker get to wear these uniforms. They're probably the most iconic of any Suns uniform. They're the ones that you still see the Mitchell and Ness throwbacks to. So I'm glad that we're going to see them.
You just like it because Jonah Hill was wearing one.
No.
Was he wearing the black one though?
He was wearing the black one.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
I mean, I rocked it too. Like so.
Oh,
I
my
mean, it
bad. I
was a
should have
nice-
led with
it
that.
was a
Yeah, you
nice
should.
jersey.
It is.
The black one's still the best, but the purple one is iconic in its own right. Like it's real. When I picture Charles Barkley's in the '90s, I picture that jersey right there. So I'm fully on board with that one.
That would be fire if they made you wear it with pants on the court and a belt like Jonah Hill wore it.
I'm gonna have to dig up this photo so you guys can laugh at me.
Oh my
I reenacted that Jonah Hill photo.
It was a
in
good
one of these
reenactment,
jerseys,
though.
yeah.
I'll just to put a bow on this. I'm not angry at any of these. Like I'm cool with all of them. I like certain ones more than others, but like there's not a glaring issue in this set of potential jerseys.
Yeah, I understand the turquoise. If it's not red, I'm gonna feel a hell of a
Did we
lot
talk you off the
better.
ledge? Is that
No,
what
I
happened?
still
'Cause
hate
you were
the fact that
vehemently against
I
it.
still hate the fact that the entire league is going to have a jersey that goes completely against their colorway. And
Why?
because it makes no sense. If I turn on the TV and you got the Portland Trailblazers versus the
Espo.
Phoenix Suns, and it's neon green versus
But
teal,
it does
what the
make
fuck?
sense. It does make
Does it,
sense
like-
for the city of the people who are
I
wearing
get-
the jerseys,
I
though.
get it, but Portland's makes more sense to me because that carpet, for some reason, is beloved there. All right, like.
But turquoise is also very widely
get
seen
it.
in Arizona. It is. Like all of these random colors, quote unquote random colors, do actually make sense though. Like you gotta change your argument if you want us to get on
Get him,
board.
Linz. Get him.
No,
Get him,
they
Linz.
make sense from a city overall perspective. They make no sense for years and years of history of an actual team. That's what.
But that's why they're called the city jersey.
Yeah, but it's stupid if you're going from the valley to that. That's my problem. You go from one of the best you've seen to one of the worst you've seen.
Nah, that's
Ooh.
debatable. That is
Ooh.
not one of the worst jerseys
no,
in
it-
history of Suns.
Yes, it is.
No,
It's
No.
a
the
trash
gray ones
design.
with sleeves.
No.
the
Freaking
gray.
garbage.
Did you not see the gray ones?
No, the gray
gray
ones are not
ones.
that bad. If they didn't have
Oh my
sleeves,
god!
if they didn't have sleeves, they wouldn't have been bad.
Oh my god!
They at least had the
Oh,
Western
and if my
font.
aunt had a penis, she'd be my uncle.
Yeah,
Who cares? They were
congratulations.
trash.
They were not.
Oh
they
my
had
gosh.
they had the colors. They had the
Espo.
historic Western. I have that jersey. I
Espo
have
was
2 of them.
grasping
That
at
jersey is
strong
awful.
straws right
Two
now.
of them.
Yeah,
Awful.
in my collection.
Who was even on the team that was
Eric
worth getting a
Bledsoe,
Eric
and
jersey?
then they
Bledsoe.
made one of me for myself.
Okay,
Ay,
well,
It
vey.
was a gift. It was a gift from the marketing department.
Oh, that's cool.
I feel like you're a lost cause with this
Look,
one.
Y'all friends should have gotten
that
me better
one.
gifts.
There's a reason. I had to write all the marketing speak for that.
That's why he
jersey.
likes it.
So, like, because
Espo wrote himself into believing it was a good jersey.
damn straight. That's how good of a writer I am.
He
Is
said,
I
"I'm
convinced
so
I
good at
convinced
marketing,
myself
I even
this is
convinced
good."
myself.
Oh my god! Y'all gonna make Espo cry? Icon says in the chat.
So look, I get your point. These are supposed to be things that represent a larger thing than the team. Why did it have to be?
It's bigger than
worst-
yourself, for
why
sure.
did it have to be the worst design that they had of the last ones too?
It's
It is.
not.
That orange one is the worst design, and then they decided to make it teal. I feel
like the orange ones grew on me after a while. Maybe
They
not the
looked
color,
good
but at least
on
the
the guys.
design.
It
Yeah.
did not look good hanging on a rack, but they
No.
looked good when they were on the players.
My thing is, don't they change these every like 2 to 3 years anyway?
We're supposed to change it every year, so we're gonna get one
so
year.
we're
with
gonna
these.
have this same
I'm gonna struggle
these
for a
same
year.
arguments.
Sleeves on a basketball jersey is just the worst. Fucking
No, it was
thing
the
ever.
dumbest idea, and the only reason
my
Adidas
God.
did it was because they thought, oh, fat guys will buy jerseys with sleeves. They buy soccer or baseball jerseys, and it was stupid because it looked dumb on the players. Like
Ugh.
the
I would
sleeves
have a
were
hard
trash.
time, like if I'm a player and I'm used to having a sleeveless jersey. If you give me a jersey with sleeves, I feel like it might throw me off.
Oh,
You remember-
yeah, absolutely.
Remember LeBron ripped his sleeves
Oh, yeah.
the first time?
A
I
million
would do
percent.
the same thing. Like
Yeah.
that just feels like you're constricted then.
No,
I
yeah.
wouldn't like that at
When I was in
all.
high school and in college, I refused to play with sleeves. Always half sleeves
Yeah, it was dumb.
because I fucking hated the constriction.
In conclusion, we've got some really exciting jerseys coming up this season that we're all looking forward to, except for Espo. You guys ready for some screenshots?
No.
Yes.
It's time for some screenshots presented by Arizona Department of Health Services. COVID-19 vaccines are free for everyone 5 and older. Those 12 and older are also now eligible for a booster. Visit azhealth.gov/find location for a location near you. Who wants to start our screenshots?
Don't go to me. I don't remember.
I'll start.
All right, what you got, Saul?
So a buddy of mine, Jabari Davis, was like, hey, just so you all know, you can throw it up there, Jacob. Never forget, Grandpa Joe was bedridden for 20 years, was spending his daughter's money on tobacco while his family ate cabbage hot water each night. And as soon as Charlie got that ticket, my man was up like this. And it shows a picture of Grandpa Joe dancing around the fucking living room or whatever that is. And I just got to thinking, you know what? Grandpa Joe is low-key one of the worst characters in all of TV or movie history, only rivaled by one Pam Beasley from The
No.
Office.
Why does
What?
everybody hate her so
Who
much?
is
I don't
such a
understand.
tragic character
No.
and one of the most selfish people
What?
in all of TV.
Oh,
If you hate on
I'm
Pam, you
upset.
have to hate on Jim.
No, you can't.
I'm
Because
How?
Pam, listen, Jim supported Pam to get all her dreams, and she gave up on her own dreams. And then when Jim was like, oh my God, I think I found my dream job, and he was trying to pursue it, Pam basically said no and shit all over him.
Wasn't she
and stopped
pregnant
him.
and just had a baby?
No, they were well past the kids. Like, and
No,
so
they
she was
had
like,
kids.
But they
no,
had
because
kids.
she,
They had kids.
they had 2 kids. He even got her a job in Philadelphia, but she didn't want to move. She didn't want to go. She didn't want to do any of that. She wanted to stay
Well,
in
who
her
wants to
comfy
live
little
in
home in
Philadelphia?
Scranton, Pennsylvania.
Well, didn't he buy her that home
Yeah, he did.
without asking her?
So,
Yeah.
Sounds like somebody doesn't know how to communicate with his spouse.
what?
I'm sorry, if you're making a
She
financial
kept it to herself
decision
the
to
whole
buy a
time.
house,
For like 2 seasons, she just kept it to herself. And then finally
Kept
she's
what
like,
to
well, I
herself?
don't want to move. And he was like, dude, I just did all this and you didn't even want to tell me? But she gave him the approval to go through and invest and go through this whole rigmarole. And he builds this company and it's about to pay off and she bounces.
Didn't they wind up moving there in the end? Is that
Yeah,
how it ended?
after everybody shit on her on the show, when they did the whole panel, like the whole panel was like, dude, why didn't you just trust your husband? Like he had a good thing going and you just shit on him. And she was like, oh my God, I am the asshole. Yeah.
At least she realized it.
Yeah, she did.
You know who's the worst character? Doc Brown. You ever think about Doc
I
Brown
don't know who
I
that
don't know
is.
who that is.
from Back to the Future?
I've never watched it.
Crazy. What?
You've never
The
watched.
crazy
Get the
old
hell
guy?
out of my studio,
No.
Saul.
Was that from the 80s?
Yeah, you're Saul. You were like 17 in the 80s.
Yeah, I don't remember that.
Issue with you calling it your studio, I think. Oh,
I didn't even know.
I don't know. I'm not in agreement with you on Pam entirely, but I am in agreement with you on Grandpa Joe. That was garbage. Like, you say you're bedridden, and all of a sudden you get a chance to go to Willy Wonka, and you're up dancing around. Like,
he found it. Excuse
me.
Yeah, that's questionable.
Yep.
Have issues. All right, I'll do my screenshot next. So this was a tweet that I saw. There's a couple different people chiming in here. So it started with Kohi. First, they said, Warriors fans are so trash. Then Alexis quote tweeted and said the absolute worst. Then Angel replied to that quote tweet and said, I'm a Sacramento Kings fan living in Northern California. There's so much bandwagon Warriors fans, and they are annoying. I'm rooting against them. The reason why I chose this particular screenshot is because last week we had a conversation around why everyone hates the Suns and Suns fans. Mm-hmm. And we came to the conclusion that Suns fans can be a little bit sassy on the internet. But I think this just goes to show that every single fan base has a group, at least, of other fan bases that dislike them. So you're never going to win at all. No. And everyone's going to have an issue with you in some shape or form. And I think this is a bigger life lesson we can all learn.
Well, we were a special brand of asshole. Let's be honest.
She turned this into a moral of the story. Is
I wasn't intending on
what I
there.
learned today. Yeah, no, I mean, I get it. I feel like Warriors fans are more like snobby. Like they're annoying in a different way. Like Suns fans are like vicious if you come at their players or their people or criticize them in the wrong way because they're so used to criticizing their own team. But like Warriors fans are just kind of like more, they come off, at least the ones that we're talking about on Twitter, yeah, they come off more entitled, like, oh, we're just better because we've been, I mean, they have been better.
They were better. They are better.
At
least they're backing it up. We talked a lot of shit we couldn't back up.
I mean, we backed it up in the regular season at least.
Ooh, let's get excited for the regular season.
Yeah, let's go. Preseason champs. Let's do it.
It could have been
regular
worse.
season title, baby.
It could have been worse.
Is there a banner?
It could have been a 19-win
Actually, there is a Pacific Division
banner.
Oh yeah, there is a Pacific Division banner. That's right.
I didn't remember.
I always forget that they have the division banners up there.
It's so weird. Divisions don't even matter in terms of seeding anymore. Anyway, why?
Gerald, what's your screenshot?
My screenshot is from, I think it was last week when Devin Booker got named to the All-NBA team. Our friend Shrieker said, my 2018 dreams have fully come true. Devin Booker and Luka Doncic on the same team. They both made first team, and I thought that was funny. It stings a little bit, but it's still funny. And that's the perfect niche for Suns humor.
It's not funny after what happened in the second round, all right?
I mean, it was still. I still laughed.
It's not funny.
Luka's still a hoe.
I think that's my favorite thing that came out of this entire season.
Luka a hoe.
That's just so funny.
A little Tunchi.
So funny. Espo?
Jacob, do you have the screenshot ready?
Yes, you tweeted a Pokemon card.
Go the new.
Well,
you have it.
I gotta build it. So.
All right, go the old, and then we'll go the new. So, a friend of mine, Jared Cohen, who I used to do a podcast with, tweeted, "I've spent about 35 seconds of my life actually looking at Pokemon cards. My son got new ones yesterday, asked me to hold them, and while he got buckled in the car, and this was the card on top, signs, and it's a Pokemon that says Durant, and he's expecting that means Kevin Durant will be to the Suns. But it's a giant ant, and it says if Durant is on your bench, this attack does 60 more damage, which you'll never see Kevin Durant on your bench. So
yeah, that was one of the most random Pokemon I've ever seen.
All right,
Coda Kids.
I have one of those.
A Durant?
Pokemon. I think I got one of them. I still play Pokemon.
Of course.
No comment.
Who doesn't?
It's a lot of fun.
No comment. I do have one other screenshot based off our earlier discussion. Let's throw that up there, Jacob. That's me as Jonah Hill back in the day. When he did that, I lost a bet, and I had to dress like Jonah Hill. And then somebody photoshopped that photo, put his tattoos on me, Jonah Hill's tattoos, and put me on the Superbad poster. So
okay, wait. So what part of this is you?
Me standing there in the Jonah Hill, in the jersey and the pants. That's all me. And those are my arms.
So this whole body
that whole thing,
is yours.
except for the tattoos, are mine. Yes, I was skinnier back then.
That's not it. I just didn't know what I thought. I wasn't sure if they had just photoshopped your head onto Joe.
No, I had to actually.
Because you said you had a picture, but I wasn't sure if this was the picture that you were talking about. It's not even that funny, Saul.
I thought it was pretty funny.
If you look close, you can see the Frank Kaminsky tattoo on his right arm.
That he is still going to get.
I actually have it. I just haven't told you guys. How awesome would that be?
That
Surprise!
That'd be quite
I always had a Frank tattoo.
It'd be quite a reveal
so
for the season opener next year.
All right, let's round out the show with a little ad read roulette.
Oh, we're doing that today?
Yep, and I hope it's Espo.
Oh, God.
Spin that beautiful wheel, Jacob, and let's find out who it is. Round and round it goes. Where it stops, nobody knows. It's Saul Bookman, I believe.
God damn it. Of course
I
it
think
was.
so.
I knew it was going to be me today.
And then let's spin to find out what Saul will be doing.
It's probably some stupid-ass voice.
What does it say, Jacob?
Oh, is it yodeling?
It's Yodeler.
This was his worst fear before the show.
Because it doesn't make any damn sense.
Wait, who is
think
that? I
this
wasn't
is
paying
rigged.
attention.
It's yodeling. It's me. It's yodeling.
How exciting.
Yeah. Fan-fucking-tastic. I can't wait. Cool. Well, let me pull this up.
I'm so concerned.
Yodelay, 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 hee-hoo.
All right.
Just the look on Saul's face makes it worth it.
He's gonna kill you after the show.
Jacob's a dead man.
I can't find the ad read.
Yodelay. Here, do you need it? It's right here.
It's OGs, right?
Yeah, you don't have OGs.
I'm
memorized
scrolling right through this
It's
whole
right
fucking
here.
thing. Okay. All right. I'll just use your laptop.
Okay, here you go. There you go.
Ready for the buzzkill?
Yes,
All right, here we
let's
go.
What you got? Good start.
Stop by your local dispensary and grab some amazing scratch-made THC gummies from our friends at OG's. Different flavors like blackberries and cream and watermelon. Perfect if you're in the mood for an uplifting sativa and chill indica. If you're interested in
Really?
trying the amazingly
You can't-
delicious...
you can't
right?
even-
It makes no sense. It's
You
a
can't-
song.
you
It's not a
can't-
fucking voice,
you
Espo.
can't- You can't even
You're
pretend.
interested. If you're interested in trying the
Buzzkill.
amazingly delicious variety of flavors that OG's Brands has to offer, go to ogsbrands.com. That's OGEEZbrands.com to find an OG's
Hand me
near
the
you.
laptop. Let
Go
me
ahead.
show you how
Yeah.
you do it.
Go ahead,
no.
do it.
Yodelodelo. I can't hear. Just hand it
Well, no, fucking do it. If you say it's possible.
Stop by your. I can't do it. You're right.
Because it's not possible.
It's not
I just
possible.
fucking said that. I even said that before the show.
You're right. It's not
Jesus.
possible. That's all Jacob. I have nothing to do with it.
You know,
Jacob
I
sucks.
just-
If anybody would like to give it an attempt,
I don't got the
Gerald,
pipes. I don't
no?
got the pipes for it.
Lindsay.
all I know is that we've talked about a lot about Monty and DA needing therapy. I think after today's show, we all need to go to therapy as well
Been there.
because this
I'm already
show seems
texting
to
my
bring up
therapist.
a little bit of. I don't know what this show brought up or why, but I feel like we are all feuding with each other.
I don't
So
know if we're feuding, but I literally said this before the show. I was like, I don't get this. So if I don't get it and we spin it and I get it, guess what? I don't get it.
I do love the fact that
Lord have
our
mercy.
chat is saying choke and L. And they're just on you.
Game 7 choke. That's fine.
We have had a
But-
choking
But
problem in the
let,
office.
let the record show, Espo also tried and gave up as well.
So with that, thanks for tuning in. We'll be back tomorrow at 2 p.m. and hopefully in a little bit better of a mood.
No, the topic's not any better.
maybe fewer
What is
emotions.
tomorrow's
Love
topic?
and hate.
Tomorrow's topic is love and hate. So this will be an interesting one. Until then, you can follow me on Twitter at Lindsey Smith AZ. You can follow Saul at Saul_Bookman. You can follow Gerald at Gerald Bourguet. And of course, you can follow Espo at Espo. Espo, take us home.
Remember, yodeling is an accent, you idiot. Oh,
Hey yo, my lifestyle is retro. Tell the Phoenix Metro. Megas in control and he ain't never gonna let go. PHNX though, Lindsey, Gerald, Espo. Saul pass the ball, we here to turn up the tempo. Got to understand me, I'll always rep the family. Rally in the valley like Dan G, no plan B. Always on the job, my team move like the mob. Turn the beat on, I throw it down like DA on the live. Best combo since KJ, Marley, and Charles. If you squad, just sitting on the chat, get involved.